In a world that never stops talking, silence has become rare. Our days are filled with noise notifications, opinions, deadlines, conversations, expectations. Everywhere we go, something is demanding our attention, our response, our voice. We are encouraged to speak quickly, react immediately, and explain ourselves constantly. Yet, some of the most powerful moments in life happen not when we speak, but when we are silent. Silence is not weakness. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is not defeat. Silence is often where strength is formed, wisdom is sharpened, and God speaks most clearly. Today, we are reflecting on a truth that many overlook. There is power in silence. 1. Silence is not absence. It is presence. Many people are uncomfortable with silence because they mistake it for absence. They think if nothing is being said, nothing is happening. But silence is often full of meaning, awareness, and intention. Think about the moments when words fail, when grief is too deep to explain, when joy is too overwhelming to describe, when love doesn't need a speech to be understood. In those moments, silence speaks louder than words ever could. Silence allows us to be fully present, not planning what to say next, not rehearsing an argument, not defending ourselves, just present, and presence is powerful. 2. God often speaks in silence. In Scripture, God is not always found in the noise. He is not always in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire. Often, He is found in the stillness. Silence creates space for God's voice. When life is loud, God's whisper can be drowned out. When our minds are crowded, our spirits struggle to hear direction. But when we become still, truly still, we begin to notice what we were missing. Silence trains us to listen, not just with our ears, but with our hearts. Sometimes God is silent not because He is absent, but because He is inviting us to trust. 3. Silence is a sign of inner strength. The world often rewards the loudest voice in the room, but strength is not measured by volume. True strength is measured by restraint. It takes strength to stay silent when misunderstood. It takes strength to remain calm when provoked. It takes strength to listen when you want to interrupt. Anyone can react. Anyone can argue. Anyone can raise their voice. But it takes wisdom to pause. Silence is often the response of someone who knows who they are and does not need to prove it. 4. Silence protects your peace. Not every thought deserves a response. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Not every battle deserves your voice. Silence is a boundary. When you choose silence, you are choosing peace over chaos. You are choosing self-control over emotional exhaustion. You are choosing clarity over confusion. There is peace in knowing that you do not have to explain yourself to everyone. There is freedom in realizing that some conversations only drain you, not develop you. Silence allows you to walk away without losing yourself. 5. Silence teaches discernment. When you talk constantly, you reveal everything. But when you are silent, you observe, you learn, you discern. Silence sharpens awareness. You begin to notice patterns, intentions, and truths that were hidden behind noise. You learn who listens and who only waits for their turn to speak. You learn who respects your quiet and who fears it. Silence reveals character, both yours and others. 6. Jesus and the power of silence. One of the most profound examples of silence is found in the life of Jesus. When falsely accused, He did not defend Himself with long explanations. When mocked, He did not retaliate. When misunderstood, He did not argue. His silence was not surrender, it was authority. He understood that not every accusation requires an answer. Not every lie needs correction. Sometimes silence is the loudest declaration of truth. 7. Silence before speaking. Brings wisdom. Words spoken in haste often create regret. Silence creates space for wisdom. When you pause before speaking, you give yourself time to choose words that heal rather than harm. You give your emotions time to settle. You allow clarity to replace impulse. Silence before speaking is not fear, it is maturity. Number 8. Silence heals the soul. There is healing in quiet moments. When the noise fades, the soul exhales. Silence gives your heart room to breathe. In silence, wounds surface so they can be healed. In silence, exhaustion is acknowledged instead of ignored. In silence, you reconnect with yourself and with God. Many people are tired not because they do too much, but because they never rest their minds. Silence is rest. 9. Silence builds faith. Waiting. Seasons are often silent seasons, and waiting is hard. But silence teaches faith because it removes the comfort of immediate answers. It forces us to trust without constant reassurance. It trains us to believe even when nothing seems to be happening. Just because God is silent does not mean He is inactive. Some of the greatest transformations happen underground, in silence, before they ever appear above the surface. 10. Silence is preparation. Before growth comes quiet. Before breakthrough comes stillness. Before clarity comes pause. Silence is often preparation, not punishment. When God quiets your surroundings, He may be strengthening your foundation. When distractions are removed, focus is refined. When voices fade, purpose becomes clearer. Do not rush the silent season. It is shaping you. 11. Learning when to be silent. Wisdom is knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. There are moments when your voice is needed to encourage, to defend, to proclaim truth. But there are also moments when silence is the greater wisdom. Silence when anger wants control. Silence when pride wants the last word. Silence when emotions are louder than reason. Knowing when to be silent is emotional and spiritual intelligence. 12. Silence and humility. Silence keeps the heart humble. It reminds us that we don't have all the answers. It keeps us teachable. When we silence our need to be right, we make room to grow. When we silence our ego, we allow grace to lead. Humility often speaks without words. 13. Silence in prayer. Prayer is not only about speaking, it is also about listening. Some of the deepest prayers are silent ones. Tears without words, trust without explanation, faith without noise. In silence, prayer becomes surrender. Second, per pain. Silence as an act of trust. Silence says, I trust God to fight for me. Silence says, I don't need to control this. Silence says, I believe truth will stand without my defense. Trust grows in quiet confidence. 15. Embracing silence daily. Silence does not mean isolation. It means intentional, quiet, moments of stillness in a busy life. A quiet morning, a pause before reacting, a moment of reflection before decision. These small acts of silence build a life of peace, clarity, and spiritual depth. Choosing silence with purpose. Silence is not running away. Silence is standing firm. Silence is listening deeply. Silence is trusting fully. In silence, strength is revealed. In silence, faith is refined. In silence, God is near. May you learn not to fear the quiet moments. May you recognize silence not as emptiness, but as sacred space. And may you discover, again and again, that there is power in silence.